Welcome to Mindful Ambition, the podcast where we explore what it means to lead with purpose and ambition without losing ourselves in the process. I'm your host, Dr. Andrea, licensed psychologist, consultant, speaker, and founder of Mindfully Mind and Theraboss. Each week, I sit down with powerful women and emotionally intelligent leaders to unpack what drives them and how they stay grounded while pursuing big goals. So let's get started. Today's guest is someone who has built her career around helping others find clarity, own their voice, and turn intention into meaningful influence. I'm excited to welcome Alexis Quintal, founder and CEO of Rosarium Collective, a boutique agency helping entrepreneurs, executives, and creatives amplify their visibility through authentic storytelling and strategic leadership. A former college professor turned entrepreneur, Alexis blends her background in education and brand strategy to teach leaders how to transform clarity into influence and influence into sustainable growth. Under her leadership, Rosarium has become a trusted partner for purpose-driven professionals nationwide, like myself, securing major media placements and cultivating community-driven brands rooted in connection, credibility, and values. Alexis is a two-time TBBW Women Who Win honoree, a Marquis Who's Who top business owner, and a Salem State University 40 Under 40 recipient. She frequently speaks at national conferences, including Podfest, IT Expo, and the Florida, New York, California Restaurant Show. That's a mouthful.
I know, seriously.
Based in Tampa Bay, Alexis mentors founders at the University of Tampa's Lowith Entrepreneurship Center and serves on several boards, including Embark Collective, Unsilenced Voices, and the Tampa Club Nonprofit Foundation. Alexis, I'm so excited to have you here today. I've been really looking forward to this episode.
Me too. Thank you so much. Glad we got to do this together in person.
I know. This is very exciting. So let's start. So you began your career as a college professor, and then you transitioned into entrepreneurship. What was that shift like for you? And what intentionally sparked your move from education into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I was one of those people in college where I had so many different interests and also a lot of different jobs. I had like 5 jobs at once just because I loved it. To me, it wasn't like work. It was, I want to get involved in this department, and I did retail because I loved fashion, and I loved being involved on campus at Salem State. So when one of my mentors pulled me aside and kind of told me that I could make working on campus a career path, I was interested. So I was studying communications and marketing and thought that would be my path. But when he kind of encouraged me to stay on, get my master's in higher education, and it was a cohort model program, and everyone, basically 100% of graduates get a really great job in higher ed. And I was really grateful. That's actually what got me down to Tampa. It's because my first job was at USF. So It was kind of just part of my journey. I don't think it was ever meant to be like my long-term career. Yeah, because I did find that, in the higher ed setting, it's very political. There's a lot of like just standards you have to meet that I didn't feel like I could really mold myself into. And I'm always been really interested in just growing and, each year, and you kind of get stuck very easily in higher ed. So I worked at USF as a professor, but also an advisor for a couple of years, and then shifted to marketing. And that was when I knew I was in the industry that I should be in, because it was just very fast paced. Every day was something different. I even liked putting out fires, like shifting to meet like whatever the technology is of that year. So it felt very natural as a shift, but I feel like I keep my teacher roots very, they're still very active. I sign a lot of homework.
I actually was going to say, I know that someone had mentioned that you were like a great mentor for her, and I see that you are kind of bringing over your educator style, your advisor style into your growth as the CEO, and I think that that's great because you're working with a lot of people and you're allowing them the space to grow within your environment, and that's I think such a big thing and so important for me as a person to see that you are someone who wants to cultivate the garden.
Yeah,
and
right.
Exactly.
The Rosarium.
And exactly. You want to cultivate it. You want to nurture it. You're trying to give it the water and the fertilizer and everything for it to grow. And I think that that's beautiful. And to be honest with you, it's what makes people want to work with you. and be your support system. So I think it's great. What skills from your time in education, besides what I just told you, do you find most valuable in your leadership today?
I mean, education teaches you to adapt to a lot of different types of personalities, learning styles, but also like colleagues, people within your own department, and within similar roles. So I think taking that from business actually felt very natural because I felt like I was prepared to speak. I had to speak in front of large classes. I mean, it taught me public speaking, taught me how to shift. Maybe, not everyone has the same like black and white learning styles. So being able to meet one-on-one with students and help them when they're maybe struggling with like that typical format.
Right.
And then it taught me to also just not feel like I have to get stuck under this glass ceiling. So kind of taught me what not to do too.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot I've been able to take.
I mean, I see that you're growing as a person throughout this journey, and just what you're doing with the people around you, I think is great. I mean, even your clients. I am very grateful of working with you because it's great to see how your leadership style has allowed even myself and the things that I have envisioned for myself for so many years to grow and like flourish and be where it is today. I mean, and a lot of that speaks volumes of like what you're doing in behind the scenes that I don't get to see.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that you're managing a lot of fires throughout the day and, answering all my emails. And I'm just one of your clients. So I'm sure that there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes and that you do it so seamlessly and the way that you're so responsive to me. And I'm sure that to other clients, I think is speaks volumes of your style and what you're building.
Well, because they're not really to even clients to me. Like, they're just other people. We're all on this journey together.
Yeah.
Like, just trying to figure out every day. Like, me too.
Right.
So that's what's been fun is I feel like a lot of the people I work with are in similar stages and mindsets as me. So I'm just sharing what I'm happen to be an expert at. But I would go to you for mental health related because I'm the expert there.
Well, you know what? I love that you say yes to all of the craziness that I throw at your way and all the ideas that I have. So, but with that, you often talk about clarity being the foundation of influence. What does clarity really mean in practice, and why do so many leaders struggle to find it?
Well, even myself. I mean, when you're sitting down, even if you're journaling and reflecting and doing all the right things, it still can be just really overwhelming. Like, how do I make this? Especially because most people are multifaceted.
Right.
I've heard multi-hyphenate is another term that I've heard recently where it's like mom dash wife dash business owner dash store owners. It's like we have so many different things that we're doing, but to find clarity in all those dashes and hyphenates can be really difficult. So that's where I can kind of come in. And honestly, I mean, all I'm doing is asking the right questions. Like, sorry to give away my secret sauce, but you just need to have someone that can ask you the right questions, guide you in the direction. And most of the time, they answer it themselves. Maybe we add some, like, little bows and whistles to make it, like, extra, sound good and marketable. But most of the time, it's within you. It's just, like, you just need someone to, like, pull it out. So...
I mean, even with asking questions, I think it's important to not be afraid to ask the questions. Like, not be afraid to,
I ask the uncomfortable questions.
Like, let's get comfortable with the uncomfortable, guys.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think it's important not to assume that you know the answer, but more rather, let's find that clarity. Let's ask the questions. Let's dig deeper into what it really is that your vision is, so that you have the most information to be able to help the other person out with what they want. So, I mean, I think that's great.
Even this morning I was on a call with someone where she kind of said she felt like she had like brain constipation.
I love that.
Sorry for the, vulgar term, but she was just like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And after an hour of just asking questions and then maybe like giving some of my initial thoughts, but I don't give too much that first meeting because it can be overwhelming. And like, I even need to take it all in, like everything that was just absorbed into me. So, but even after the full hour, she was just like, I feel less constipated now.
First of all, I love that. Brain constipation. That is amazing. But I was going to say, like, you do ask the right questions. Because I have found myself taking the question back, reflecting on it, and then emailing you with an answer like, okay, now I have given more thought to this question. So now I have more clarity and, like, more understanding of... Because I think even sometimes I can be the person that has the vision, but expressing it, explaining it, really putting it to, putting the words to what I'm trying to say sometimes doesn't necessarily come out the way that I intend it to.
Right.
And then you ask questions, and then I'm like, okay, I need to ponder on how I want to answer that, or like really find the answer to that. And then, boom, you deliver what I'm looking for. And it's such an amazing process. And I think that for myself, being as an entrepreneur, working with you and working with your team has been really transformative in that, I do step into that CEO role a lot more than I did before because, being solo or being, working as a clinician, I always have my clinician hat. And so being able to kind of have these meetings and have these conversations and have these questions and come to just, seeing everything come to life, it's great. It's a very transformative process. I mean, we've come a long way since I started with you. And so, I can't wait to see all the other things I did. I did get your newsletter this morning.
Yeah, did you love it?
Yes, I love your newsletter.
Shout out to Mindful Ambition.
Exactly. But, it's like things like that I think are just so great because you can see your passion. You can see the things that you're looking for. And that, again, you're open to saying yes to opportunities, to new projects, to what your clients are looking for. And you're really a team. You're really a great support system. And so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So storytelling is at the heart of Rosarium's work.
Yes.
How do you define authentic storytelling, especially in a world where branding can sometimes feel performative?
Right. Yeah, we definitely avoid wanting anyone to not be themselves, of course, and whether we're like filming content and it's going to get edited and maybe it's even like a professional camera, we still... What we'll make sure we're doing is coming up with topics and themes and, conversations that are still true to who you are. Yeah. So that's why it comes with that first meeting of asking all the hard questions because we're finding out, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to avoid ever touching on, if anything? And so that way, you at like dinner table with your family, you should be mostly the same as you would be like in your content or on stage speaking. Right. Obviously, there's going to be some like edges that you want to polish a little bit for a professional setting, but also I think we're in an age now where it's actually good and it's encouraged to be your true self, even if you are like a little quirky or weird or imperfect. Like, why wash away all the imperfections when that's what makes us human? In a world where AI is just taking over, we might as well just be ourselves. Like
talking about AI, as I was waiting before earlier today, I went on social media and, side note, The Lion King is one of my favorite movies, right? Okay. Growing up.
Yeah.
And obviously it's so traumatizing when Mufasa dies. So now there's this like... AI to cure your trauma, your childhood trauma, where Mufasa doesn't actually die and Scar actually saves him. And I'm like,
they remade the ending.
Classic
AI Disney movie
exactly. Like, why would you have me go through all these years and now use AI to reverse what I have already experienced?
Yeah,
I can't. But anyways, the world of AI and all these things that are happening and the things that you see is actually kind of scary how some things can look very real.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another day.
Yeah, it is. It'll be a whole other situation.
What is one mistake you see leaders make when they try to build a personal brand?
I see some mistakes are doing it for the wrong reasons and potentially doing it in fear or like desperation, Okay. So because I've worked with people and a lot of it's almost like in the very beginning, how like when you go to a chiropractor and they x-ray your spine and they're like, okay, you're like a little off, but we can rework it. I almost feel like that's what we do in the beginning. We're like, how aligned are you with what your real goals are? And then try to kind of work that spine, back together. And some people are just like, they've got scoliosis.
I love that. They're just way off the charts.
Yeah, I'm like, well, we can try to help you, but maybe you're not in this for the right reasons, or you're expecting like overnight success, which is not ever going to happen, which we set that expectation from the beginning. But yeah, I mean, I think the people that are aligned they're truly stepping into this next phase for the right reasons and right intentions and, you know, to give back and, you know, maybe to be able to share some of their knowledge and even some of like their challenges and their trauma with other people to try to make the world a better place or, you know, make it a little bit easier for that next generation or the next person who's like starting their own practice, right? You want to help people that are considering leaving a very stable environment
Right.
and start their own practice. And a lot of times that fear comes into play, holds them back. So, you know, it's getting past that fear. That's the hard part, but that's when you'll really actually see the best results.
It's a lot of like those limiting beliefs that tell you you can't do it or you don't belong there or the what ifs or like, and the thing is that there's always a what if, right? I mean, you know, imposter phenomenon likes to kick in every once in a while and tell you all like the worst case scenarios of what can possibly happen. But what if it does work out?
Worst case scenario?
Yeah. Like what, and the thing is that even with my clients, like I asked them like, if that were worst case scenario, what would you do?
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10 times they have a solution to that worst case scenario. So then it's like, okay, well then if you have a solution, what are you worried about?
Right.
Worst case scenario that you can imagine, there's a solution.
Right.
So let's just go.
If it's not death, then you
exactly.
can pretty much overcome anything else.
It's changeable. Like that's pretty much that's it. But that's it. You know, it's finite. But like there's so many different solutions or options or things that you can do and try again. And so, you know, the whole concept of like failure, it's not really failure. It's a lesson if you are willing to lean in. And if not, let me tell you, life will continue showing you in the hardest of ways that you need to change something. And we'll try to get that lesson through. So pay attention to your failures and try to learn from them.
Right, exactly. And don't be afraid of them. I feel like every single day is basically there's like a few failures every single day. I mean, they could just be like small things like you burnt your breakfast or, you know, you forgot to put your parking, which hopefully I put my parking on, like, and I, you know, hopefully I don't get a ticket. But like, I guess that would be a little failure, but does it really stop me from the path that I'm trying to go down? No, not really. It's just kind of like a bump along the way. So
bump along the road, and we just gotta
so listen to what those failures are, like you said, but also just kind of embrace them and put on your big girl pants and move on.
Yeah, exactly. So as a founder, speaker, and mentor, you're holding a lot of responsibility. How have your boundaries evolved as your influence and visibility have grown?
Well, I'm talking to the therapist, but I'm gonna say I don't really agree. Not agree, but like I don't believe in boundaries.
Okay, tell me more.
You're gonna kill me. I don't know. I just think it's an overused word a little bit. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, are you supposed to like turn your phone off at a certain time, or you know, not answer phone calls at a certain time, or you know, just focus on your family? Yeah, of course. But I don't know. I kind of feel like boundaries can be it's really up to you, like what you're comfortable with.
Right.
And a lot of times, like maybe I do answer the phone at 7 p.m. because I want the next morning to be able to have my me time and go to the gym, and that's when I don't answer the phone. So yeah, it's not the normal like 9 to 5 and I'm supposed to shut off any work calls after that, but there's a reason. I think your boundaries can actually just kind of work towards when are the moments that you need to have that like silent time or that me time, or
so you do believe in boundaries.
Yeah, just not the traditional term, I guess.
But I think that's I mean, you're right. I don't think that boundaries are a one size fits all.
Yeah.
I think that boundaries are dependent on that person's life, career, and things like that. I feel like as an entrepreneur, you're going to have certain times and certain, you know, your day doesn't start at 9.
Right.
It really it just doesn't, right?
It actually never really starts or ends.
Right. True. But even more so where it's like you can be very intentional about, okay, I'd rather send out this email or this message or whatever at 7 o'clock at night because I'm going to wake up and go work out in the morning and have a silent breakfast and enjoy this, you know, the sip of my coffee. And then once I do all that, I can go back onto my computer. I mean, which I do see you always with your laptop on you. So I do know that you will, when you're working and you're on work mode, you're on work mode, but also that boundary in that of like, if I need to take time for myself, I will also do that. So, I mean, I guess that's a boundary.
Okay. I just want a new term for it.
Okay, well, that's something to find. More of I guess not even limit either, but you finding that word that works. But I mean, I think it's important to kind of figure out what works
It's more
for
like a
you.
compromise with myself.
That is a good a good word actually. A compromise of like, this is the time that I have for me, and then I can do all those other things. If I answer this email or this message, then I can do XYZ for myself, which okay, a compromise, a negotiation with yourself.
Yeah. Life is just a series of
Some
negotiations.
It really is. Wow.
I don't know if that was even the question. I think I just got thrown off by the word boundaries.
Well, yeah, so it's funny because my follow-up question was what boundary impacted you the most, but I feel like your self-care is the thing that you cherish.
Prioritize.
Yeah, prioritize.
Cherish.
Which is good. I mean, it's important. I always talk about like self-care and physical, how your body and mind are always interconnected. And if something is not right, then if you're not taking care of yourself physically, it's going to affect you mentally, it's going to affect you emotionally, and it's just like a domino effect.
Right.
So being able to, like, in order for you to perform at the level that you need to perform,
right, exactly,
you have to be taking care of yourself physically and mentally and emotionally, because it's not going to work.
Right, exactly.
So you work with leaders who are often redefining success beyond titles, revenue, or recognition. How has your own definition of success changed over time?
Yeah, I think, I like to kind of call myself my own personal like case study, because even before I started my business, I feel like I was always just a little bit more like involved, joining clubs and committees, and then like even when I worked full time at a marketing agency, so I had no business like being a leader in the community, right? I'm just someone working in a corporation. But I was a leader in our advertising organization in Tampa. I was president, and then I won president of the year. And basically just because we had such a well-run and profitable organization here in Tampa. And that kind of gave me a little taste of like, if I could run this organization, I could probably run a business. So that really inspired me and made me see success a little bit differently, as far as, maybe some people define success as far as like how much money you have in the bank or your title, where I was just like a marketing manager, at the time. It's like no big deal, but actually I made the most of it, and it ended up kind of being a stepping stone to the next piece. So that's what I see success as, more of like kind
of like the next pillar, not necessarily something like the thing with like even revenue, like you said, it's just you might get to that revenue and then look for more revenue.
You're always going to look for more.
Right. It's like there's never going to be there. It comes in with like satisfaction. Like then where is the satisfaction in the goal that you have met? And, I don't think that we as people give ourselves enough grace and gratitude for the people that we are, and thanking our past self, because our past self really got us to where we are today. And our current self, like our present self, to, thank our present self, because we're going to get to, evolve and become the person that we're trying to be, based on who we are today. And I don't think that we ever stop to like really take in where you are today, and how maybe you one day dreamed of being where you are today.
Yeah. That's been one of my goals lately, is to be just more present and grateful, because this is definitely where I like wanted, I saw myself, but never had really imagined that it would like really happen. So I'm always kind of like having a pinch me moment.
I love that though, because it's important. I mean, it's so important to be present. And I'm not saying don't obviously have other goals or have future things. I mean, that's always, we're evolving people. We're going to continue growing, continue moving into our goals, or reworking our goals depending on our current circumstance. But it is really good to be able to take in, smell the roses of your garden, and be able to kind of see how things have like really truly blossomed, and like all that nurturing that you've done throughout the years.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who feels pressure to follow a version of success that doesn't actually fit them?
Well, yeah, that kind of goes back to how people measure success, or, imagine that it's supposed to be. I think it can be, it can end up kind of limiting yourself because you're so like focused on that. But it kind of goes back to one of the other questions of like that alignment, right? And making sure that you're truly in this for the right reasons. So I think I definitely recommend reflection and, you know, kind of taking time to see like, okay, so you did step into this phase. How does that feel? Because your own body will actually tell you if it's agreeing with you or not, right? So if you're
I love that you said that because I preach that all the time.
I know. And I totally agree with you on that. So, I mean, I do think it's worth like taking those risks and trying out those, you know, those new potential like journeys and new steps on that ladder, right?
Yeah.
But doesn't mean it's always going to be the right fit for you, and you can always go back.
You can always readjust. You can always find
Right.
a different, you know, a different ladder, a different step, a different direction that you want to go to. I mean, it's not, and I always say, you've heard me say this before, it's like our past is written in Sharpie. We can't change it, and it can be, you know, some things may be in black, some things in brown, some things in yellow, red, purple, pink, whatever Sharpie colors they are out there. You know, our story has already been written. Our past has already been written in that very permanent ink. But the thing about the present is that we can do things in the present time to change the future. And the thing is that if we go a certain direction, we go down a certain road, we go down a certain path, and we realize like this is not really what I thought it was going to be for me, and it's just I no longer feel aligned. I no longer feel this is genuine. I no longer feel like I'm myself in this place or in this journey. Guess what? Rip those pages out of that book, grab a pen, get new pages, and start rewriting. Like, start writing what you do want and be able to change what it is that you, like, envision for yourself and the direction that you're going. You know, we can always shift. We can always change. But it has to be intentional, and it has to be effective. And effective meaning, because change is always happening.
Yeah.
But effective needs intention. Effective change needs intention. You have to be willing to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, expand your comfort zone, ask the right questions, and not be afraid to ask for help when you need it, or, you know, reach to someone who you know can help you find that new path for you.
And stay open-minded too,
Yeah.
because you never know, like something, the next big idea or, you know, something really creative could come to you at any moment, but you have to be really open-minded to it. So, you know, I think that's an important kind of piece of the journey.
Saying yes.
Yeah.
Saying yes to like these, to what feels right.
But say no to things that don't.
Absolutely. I love the word no. It's a full statement. It's a full sentence.
Yes.
Period.
Yep.
All right. So let's wrap with our mindful ambition quick clarity round. So just say whatever comes to your mind. Okay. So a value you lead Rosarium with.
Empathy.
Ooh,
I don't know. I just answered.
I love that. That's the whole point. Whatever comes to your mind. A leadership lesson you learned the hard way.
Say no.
A belief about visibility you have had to unlearn.
You don't need to be an influencer to be visible.
I love that. A practice that helps you stay grounded.
Self-care. Yoga.
Yep. And what does ambition with intention mean to you?
Really just listening to your gut. I mean, intention is kind of like something you choose for yourself and choose to like manifest.
Yeah.
Which is a good kind of keyword I like right now too. So just really listening to if that feels like the right fit for you.
I love that. Manifest, that's one of my favorite words. Like, you can manifest. If you can see it, if you can close your eyes and visualize yourself in that life, then you can manifest it.
Right, exactly.
I love that.
You're kind of just tricking your own brain to believe it. But
And you need to believe it in order to make it real. So you have to start there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us on Mindful Ambition. If today's conversation with Alexis Quintal resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, share this episode with a purpose-driven leader in your life, and leave us a review. Until next time, keep showing up with intention. Your ambition deserves to be honored. Thank you.
thank you.